I was going to say something seems a little fishy up there, but then fuck you, Socrates. Next up, Yoni, don't call me a pony, a Weinberg.
I love you, Yoni! Yeah, Yoni!
Just kidding. I'd like to start this out with a special poem that I wrote to a very special lady. It's the lady in the front of the barrister's hall. I forgot her name, but she's a wonderful young lady, and I'd like to dedicate this to her. First day, orientation, Temple Law, aka BC. They separated us into houses, just like Harry and Ron Weasley. Massive earthquake the first week. I almost died. Okay. No, I didn't. I'm sorry. I lied. I walked into class, ready to be a soldier of the law. I cracked open a can of Red Bull that I purchased at the local Wawa. My notes, my books, ready to go. They sat me down and they said, "No, you're going to create a slideshow." And I was like, "Oh, word." First day of tours, I was like, "Yo, what are we baking?" I got a cold call that day that was worse than a spaking. And on this next verse, I'm gonna start draking. Walked into Crim Up Next, we know, taught by none other than the great Bokino. Then I went for lunch to get a cheesesteak, Geno's. I told him, "Hold the cheese, I'm Jewish." He looked at me like a jackass, Steve-O. No vacation, just lots of information. A contract's gotta have offer, acceptance, and some other freaking semester gone by. How time flies. Studying a lot has my legal knowledge and my weight both increasing in size. Learning how to do things the right way, civil procedure. I'm taking it with Professor Hoffman, so not much time for leisure. TD and the Westlaw lady are always fighting. So who's going to get to help us out with legal research and writing? Which is a great class, but I hate citing. I made it to law school, thanks to my dad and my mom. I'll make it through law school, thanks to casebriefs.com. I'm done with this poem, but not yet departed. This comedy show is about to get started. Somebody grab me a beer, my lips are getting dry. No, like, beer. Somebody. Naitling voi olla lukava. For those of you who are not from Finland, that means that this show may be offensive. But if it is, please do not force me to go to the dean's office because I don't know where it is, so that would just be cruel. What do you guys prefer, Westlaw or LexisNexis? Westlaw? Yeah? Where are my Westlaw girls at? Where are my Westlaw girls at? Alright. That's cool, but I can't date you. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, I don't date Westlaw girls. You know, because when you chose Westlaw over LexisNexis, you showed me that you prefer easy and simple over complex and complicated. I am not simple. I was at a bar the other day, and I met a girl from Villanova Law. She was alright. She was like a law school 8, you know? That's like a 4 for... Guys, don't laugh because I heard that they divide us by 3. We were talking, we hit it off okay, you know, everything was going well. I don't normally give my numbers out in bars, but now that I have the Sprint unlimited everything plan, I don't see anything wrong with it. So we exchanged numbers. And I was bored. Like 2 days later, I gave her a call, and I got her voicemail. It went something like, "Doo-doo-doo, we're sorry, your call cannot be completed as dialed. Please check the number and try to call again later." She gave me the wrong number. But guys, I was mad, but I got over it. I realized that people from Villanova Law just like to make up numbers. This next joke is only for the professors. I was at a Chinese restaurant the other day, and I ordered the wonton soup. And as I was eating the wonton soup, I thought to myself, hey, if this soup was prepared with reasonable care, would it still be fair to the soup to call it wonton? I said it was only for the professors here are great, and they've done a lot, and they've achieved a great position. And one of the things that you guys have is a tool that no other profession has, and that is the Socratic method. The Socratic method is amazing. Essentially it allows you to get plastered the night before class, not get prepared for class, show up the next day with no notes, zero attendance sheet, nothing. You show up, and you'll still be able to run a successful class. I know this sounds controversial, but let me show you how it's done, alright? The first thing you do, you guys already understand how it's done. The first thing you do is you say a generic name, like, is Dan here? Dan, he's right there. He's raising his hand, he's right there. Alright, and then what you would say is, Dan, tell me the facts of the case. And in the worst case scenario, Dan will say,
which case, sir?
I don't know, Dan. Why don't you tell me which case? Does anybody in the class want to tell Dan which case he was supposed to be last night? You were drinking last night, weren't you? You were a noche, I saw you. But like I said, only professors have this tool. No other profession has it. Car salesmen? They don't have the Socratic method. If they did, it'd be crazy. You'd walk into a car dealership, you'd be like, excuse me, car salesman, can you please tell me the difference between the Ford Taurus and the Ford Fusion? And he would be like, no, but you can tell me the difference between the Ford Taurus and the Ford Fusion. Because I already know, I studied the Ford Taurus. I know, you don't know, so it makes sense for you to tell me, because you don't know. Pilots? They don't have the Socratic method. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is your captain speaking. We will now be making our initial descent into Philadelphia International Airport. All right, let's get this started. Passenger 4A, show me how to land this sucker. Passenger 4A is like, sir, I did not do my reading. All right, passenger 4A, we will now call you Al-Qaeda School of Aviation, where landing is an optional read. All right. If there are any Al-Qaeda supporters, I'm sorry. Laugh anyways, you could get arrested. See Hamdi versus Rumsfeld. Oh, it's messed up. Ridiculous. Just laugh. At orientation, they said the whole bit about, two of you are going to get married. 2 of you are going to start your own law firm. What they should have said is 2 of you will form a lifelong friendship that will get utterly destroyed when you are paired up against each other in Introduction to Transactional Skills. Seriously, people took that ish seriously. Just to let you 2 L's and 3 L's know, we were matched up. Half of us were representing a chef, half were representing a financier. And you just have to kind of, work out a business together. So just to give you an idea. You had the groups that met up, and they exchanged limits. They're like, this is my limit, that's your limit, let's go get a beer at the draft horse, and they took care of it like that, but they didn't get the full experience. That wasn't right, but the thing is, you had groups on the other extreme. I'm talking about the guy that would walk into your group room, and he would say, hey, how much money did you get for your client? And you'd be like, oh, I got, a nice respectable figure, 300,000. It was within my limits. The other opposing counsel, they were content, and it was great. And he'd be like, oh, you got 300,000? I got 300 million. For the duration of 2 weeks, their whole purpose in life was to make it rain upon Emerald. That was the chef. And the other group, their whole purpose was to take a world-renowned chef and bring him under the poverty line. I can see them during the negotiations. They'd be like, hey, wouldn't it be funny if we could get a chef that cooks food for everybody to not be able to afford food for herself? That's a great idea. And I could see the chef's agents meeting with Emerald. They'd say, Emerald, do you know that song that goes, I'ma make it rain? Okay, that song is now applicable to you. Emerald's like, I don't know what you mean about this rain, but it sounds okay to me, The other group was like, Miss Whitman, we have good news and we have bad news. The good news is that we were able to save you a lot of money. We signed Emerald to a salary of $1.10 per day. The bad news is that Emerald has defaulted on his mortgage, and he is now in the fetal position, crying on the corner of Market and 42nd. Temple Law is a great place for you if you desire a quality legal education and if you love pizza. Seriously, guys, we have evolved into pizza gnomes over the past year or so, and I can prove it to you. Because you will be walking down the hallway, and a student will approach you, and he'll be like, hey, man, my name's Joe. I'm from GOSA, Gangster Law Student Association. We're having, I made it up because I don't want to offend any, and we'll be like, hey, we're having a great event next Wednesday. We're gonna have like free internships for everybody, 20 federal judges. Everybody's gonna be the Scalia's in the house, Julio. Everybody's gonna be there, and you'll be like, oh, dude, Joe, that sounds like a great idea, man. Real quick. Is there gonna be pizza? They'll be like, no, man, it's a brown bag. You bring your own lunch. Julio's expensive these days. And you're like, I don't know, man. It's getting close to mid-January. I gotta start outlining. It's tough. But have fun at your event. And then you could walk a couple steps further down the hallway, and another student will approach you, and he'll be like, "Hey, man, how you doing? My name is also Joe, and I'm from ULSA. It's the Law Student Association." And we're having this event next Wednesday. We're going to bring in a random dude to talk about absolutely nothing and eat pizza with us. You can save me a seat, bro. I'll be there, Save me a seat, I'm a little, I love everybody here, but I'm a little upset with some students because this is a law school, and some of you have not been following, the rules. And the one rule that I'm speaking about is, has anybody seen the sign that's like right on the front door of Klein? Has anybody seen it? This is audience.
Wear your ID.
What is that?
Wear your ID.
Exactly. Wear your ID at all times. At all times. You forgot that part. And most of you have been great about following this rule. Most of you have been wonderful. But there are a couple of us that think that we're above the rest and we don't wear our IDs when we're inside the building. And I don't want to affect anybody's ability to learn. So I'm gonna be nice and I'm gonna give you guys a secret password that you can use to get into the building, even if you don't have your ID. And that is, don't tell anybody, don't abuse it. Hey, good morning. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much.
other news, we do have pizza in the back room. If you guys know. Also, Yoni, probably not a great idea to do a riff on people judging you for money. So, yeah. And finally, law school ladies, jokes on you. 0 divided by 3 is the same.